Remember, if you lose, you're out of the family. I'm John Rethlin with my review of WWE Smackdown, as well as my Hell in a Cell 2020 predictions. 2 days away, and we have 5 matches announced, so why the fuck am I going to do a separate video? So, this had some good. This had one particular series of segments I absolutely hated, and a storyline that should have never started in the first place. But yeah, anyway, the dubbed-in crowd noise is absolute ass. The camera cuts were fucking ridiculous. Kevin Dunn should be fired from his goddamn job. Should have never gotten the job in the first place. But we start with the KO show with Daniel Bryan, and Daniel Bryan putting over hot, fresh, young talent, talking about wanting to see new matches and everything. Seems like he's going to get back into his GM role. He has, he's been wanting to wind down his career, and I don't blame him. He's taken plenty of bumps. He's been able to come back and go out, his own way, in his own way, unlike when he had to retire, and I was at, his retirement. That was really goddamn emotional. But he was talking about that, and if he wants to wind down and be a part-time wrestler or even just go to being a GM, he's more than earned that right. And he talks about wanting to see a championship defended on SmackDown every single week. Okay, he singled out the Intercontinental Championship. Obviously, Daniel Bryan versus Sami Zayn is going to be a program they take into the rest of the year and maybe even into Mania. Because they could go off and on with that, and Daniel Bryan could beat him at WrestleMania. I don't know who the fuck else you would want to have beat Sami Zayn, but it is what it is. Owens then mentions that he would like to team up with Daniel Bryan to take the tag team championships. Now, unlikely tag partners don't always work. WWE does it a lot, but I'm okay with it because these two are talents and they can make it work. Unlike Drake and Killian Dane, because I don't think that's fucking working at all. Totally different, but it is what it is. So, this hot, fresh, young talent initiative is immediately negated by the fact that Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode show up. Roode is 43, Ziggler is 40. These guys weren't even fresh 7 fucking years ago. And I feel bad for saying that because Ziggler is really good, but hasn't done anything great since 2016 with his feud with The Miz. And Roode, I love the guy, but he hasn't meant anything since coming up from, NXT. He just fucking hasn't. He's a great talent, but he's the veteran that should be there to win some and put people over. So anyway, then the Street Profits show up. I want to say right now the Street Profits are really talented, but I fucking hate the gimmick. 2 tag teams, 1 cup, joined by another tag team, Cesaro and Nakamura. They're tired of being, railed against and everything, and suddenly we have a brawl. And Adam Pearce is trying to stop this thing, and we cut to commercial. Before that, though, a brawl where a match hadn't happened, and they're ringing the bell. What the fuck was the point of that? What exactly was the point of that? If it was a match that ended in a DQ, and they kept ringing the bell, I could understand it. Why was the bell ringing? Why? Just fucking why? It's these little things where I'm like, WWE making no goddamn sense when they do this shit. So, we get Bryan and Owens and the Street Profits versus Roode, Ziggler, Cesaro, and Nakamura. It went a while, as you would expect. This was very much a filler episode for to head towards Hell in a Cell. And it wasn't bad. Bryan did do a move where it looked like he might have hurt his knee. I think he was just really selling it, which was a great way to do it. At least I hope he was selling it, because really don't want him to get injured, and I cringe every single time he has an injury. Not that he's made of glass, but it's just he's suffered a lot of injuries. But he did a good job selling that, and eventually a frog splash pinned Cesaro 1, 2, 3. And that was fine. That was fine for what it was. The Street Profits, tag team champions, gain the victory. And then we have one of the worst things that WWE has done this year, Law and Otis. I want to say right now, AEW Dynamite did the whole La Dinner Debonair segment that I absolutely hated. And I know some people didn't. If you didn't, that's totally fine. I hate it because I didn't think it was the right kind of entertainment to put on a wrestling show. It was horrible, and Chris Jericho has proven that he would rather torpedo AEW than really help it, because he's just wanting to do his comedy bullshit that really isn't that funny. Now, Law and Otis was actually worse. One, it took place over multiple segments. They did the whole dung thing, for Law and Order. For those of you that haven't seen Law and Order, they do that with every scene transition. And this is Miz wanting to get the briefcase off of Otis. So they had Ron Simmons, there just basically to shout at everybody, as Ron Simmons can do, and scare people. And they had JBL as a judge, more like Judge Bradshaw Lawfield. I paused to make sure that people are just going to tune out right there. And I don't like JBL. I'm glad he blocked me. Guy's a goddamn piece of shit. I don't really think he's been entertaining for a while, and I don't really miss having him on TV. I really didn't need him here. But yeah, this was absolute shit. Absolute goddamn shit, and it wasn't even over. And then Bianca shows up in white, black, and blue gear with the white dominating everything, so it's definitely a Fox production. And then Daniel Bryan and Kevin Owens are backstage with the Street Profits, and Daniel Bryan's all excited, and he says, "Fist me, boys." All right. I mean, I'm pretty certain that Daniel Bryan has an idea that he can just be the white guy that, is unhip and everything, and actually he works, pretty well in that role. But it's just funny how everybody paused. Maybe they didn't know that he was going to say that. It was actually kind of funny. And then Reigns is around, a fruit platter and some steak and bread or stuff like that or whatever. And we're, going back to the whole dinner debonair thing. Is the steak well done? Is it just cut fresh off the cow? And Paul Heyman's just looking confused. It was what it was. It was very odd. And then we had Bianca versus Selena. And Selena is tired of people overlooking her. Easy to do when she's about 4 feet tall. But Selena is not that bad in the ring. Bianca, however, had to win and won pretty easily, KOD for 3. And then we get a Lars video package. And then they show Lars, they pan up on him. His beard looks as real as Carlos Boozer's hair. And that's just absolutely scary to think about. Gable versus Lars. Gable cuts a promo saying that he challenged Lars because he's tired of not being taken seriously, and then he gets beaten pretty handily. Gable then says, "I quit," and goes backstage. And then Rollins says he will define Murphy's, role tonight. He will beat him up. And Adam Pearce is talking to Gable, and he says, "So you quit?" And he says, "Yeah, I quit being Shorty G." And that's the only time I'm going to mention that. Because it was a stupid name, and it wasn't going to work, and he's tired of being that name that people put on him and everything. He's going to be Chad Gable. He's going to be the talent that he is. I want to say right now that I love Chad Gable, and if he's happy in WWE earning the money that he has earned and continues to earn, that's great. Because he's a great athlete and he deserves an opportunity. If he wanted to go somewhere else and earn comparable money, for less dates, or at least, good money, he'd also be better off. But whatever he wants to do is fine. I cannot wait, however, for him to maybe get a few quality wins and then just get completely jobbed out because Vince doesn't see anything in him. Is he a dynamic personality? No. But is he great in the ring? Yes. Could he be better if you feature him in the right role and maybe don't give everybody, including him, so much scripted material? Absolutely. But was I hoping he would quit? Sure. But whatever he wants to do to make him happy is fine. Bayley then is in the ring yelling about how she's not going to sign the contract and that she is above Sasha. And no, I'm not going to sign the contract and this kind of stuff. Sasha shows up with the contract. Evidently, she can just carry that. She just stole it out of Adam Pearce's hand. Why is Adam Pearce running the show? I have nothing against the guy, but just why is he suddenly running the show? They just say, "Hey, Adam, you need to get on camera. People know who you are. Go do something." So, Sasha wants her to sign it. You sign it. You sign it. And then, Bayley tries to swing a chair at her that she had in the ring. Well, that didn't work. And then Sasha has the championship. They tried to do a tug-of-war thing over it. And then Sasha ends up hitting a flash knee strike. Pretty good knee strike. And Bayley's all thrown around everything. Oh, no. She gets, almost gets Sasha down. But then Sasha manages to get Bayley's head caught in the chair and is telling her to sign it, sign it. Okay, I'll sign it. Now leave me alone, man. And that's pretty much it right there. So she gets her to sign it. I'm betting this is going to be a way for them to swerve us and not actually have Sasha win somehow. So we then get more Law and Otis. Why is Ray there? Oh, he was in the Money in the Bank. And then Asuka's also yelling there. And Teddy Long was also there, transcribing all these words. And then Tucker was there. I hate this. I hate the Otis character. I don't hate Otis as a person. I hate the Otis character. So we then go back to the courtroom. JBL is going to, give his verdict. And then Miz says, "I have one more piece of evidence. It's a giant briefcase full of money." And then says, "Okay, hey, Otis, you're going to have to face Miz for the briefcase of Hell in a Cell." So that's the match that they made on Friday. A match that nobody wanted to see. Even though we all knew we were going to get it, it's taken them about 18 years to get to it. And it's a feud that doesn't matter. Otis should have never won the briefcase. He never should have won it. Morrison should actually have been the one to hold the goddamn briefcase, not Miz. And nothing against Miz. I have no problem with Miz. But Morrison should have won it. But it was what it was. I don't even think Morrison was in the goddamn match, but you get my point. Murphy versus Rollins. And the match was good. Here's what torpedoed it. They have Aaliyah watching TV from an odd angle, and she has the personality of a goddamn wet blanket or a dead zebra or something. And I'm sure she's nervous being on television. But some people are not dynamic personalities that should be on TV. And this show can go straight in the fucking bin. They are continuing this Murphy-Aaliyah bullshit. And I don't care if you guys don't have a problem with this stuff. Here's why I don't care for this. It's not necessary to continue the story. It's not, this story shouldn't even be continuing anyway. Back at Extreme Rules, the horror show at Extreme Rules, Seth Rollins and Rey Mysterio had that eye for an eye match. And then you had Dominic, have a match at SummerSlam, which was a good match. And I've had to eat crow when it comes to Dominic in the ring. He is not good on the mic and may never be. He may be like David Flair on the goddamn mic, but he's good in the ring, unlike David Flair or Eric Watts or a lot of second-generation talents. Moving on. But this storyline does not need to continue. Rollins landed pretty badly on an announcer's table bump, and that should look rather painful. Murphy kind of missed a dive a little bit later. And then Ray is yelling at Aaliyah for watching the match. No, you shouldn't be watching that wrestling, honey. Dad, you're a wrestler. Oh, yeah. And then Murphy gets his shoulder targeted. It looked like he might have gotten his shoulder hurt, or maybe he was just really selling, because actually it kind of looked like he was hurt a bit. And then we get move spamming. And then we get a pretty creative way to get to the curb stomp 1, 2, 3. And then Seth Rollins gets a kendo stick out, and he's going to hit Buddy Murphy. I'm just going to call him Buddy Murphy because it's funny. And Aaliyah, I have to go help him. No, you fucking don't, you stupid twat. What the hell? And then she goes to help Murphy. And then Dominic runs out. Well, I need to try and save my sister, who's an idiot. And then Dominic gets taken down. And then Ray comes down with a chair. And then everybody's arguing. And then she hugs Murphy. I don't fucking care what people do when, as far as consenting adults and everything. And yes, they are consenting adults. Is this romance storyline necessary? No, it's not fucking necessary. It's fucking horseshit. It does not need to be on a wrestling program. It's one of the worst things that WWE has done this year. Yes, consenting adult. I'm fucking sick of it. Does anybody buy this? Does anybody want to see this? Is this gonna move ratings? Is this going to help me care about Murphy? No. Is it gonna help me care about Aaliyah? I don't care what happens to Aaliyah as far as being an on-screen character. I hope she has a good life, but she shouldn't be on television. This is fucking horseshit. Absolute fucking horseshit. God damn it. Just stop doing this dumb shit. I bet this is Bruce and Vince being dumb, which wouldn't surprise me. Bruce Pritchard, the goddamn stupid twat that he is. And twat, by the way, is a universal word. You can use it for any gender or any, person you choose. So, the tribal consequences, New Mexico with Reigns. I know that's not how it works, but, Jey Uso's there in the suite or whatever that Reigns has. And then he pulls down the mask. Oh, no, it's Jimmy. I hate to say it, I can't tell the difference. I'm not being mean. I can't tell the difference. And then suddenly Jey attacks him. And, Reigns tries to fight him off, and eventually Jey hits a splash. And then it's cousin-on-cousin splash action. But anyway, Reigns says, if you make me quit, I lose the title, and I'm okay with that. I'm not the chief. I won't be able to provide for the families and all that stuff. I can live with that. But when I make you quit, and I will make you quit, everybody's out of the family. You, your brother, your children, your children's children are out of the family. Those are the big consequences. Nobody believes that. Nobody believes this shit of them being out of the family. It's goddamn stupid. Anyway, Jey climbs the goddamn cell as it lowers, or after it lowers, and is looking at him. Why did he climb the cell? What good is he going to do? Is he going to splash through the goddamn roof? I hope not. I don't want to see anybody get hurt. This show had elements of, or there were elements of a good show here, but it was bogged down by some shit. Smackdown needs to get a lot better. They need to drop this Aaliyah Murphy storyline immediately, if not sooner. So now, Hell in a Cell card. This is what it is as of me recording right after SmackDown. So if anything I haven't done talking smack, I apologize. Jeff Hardy versus Elias. Well, it's not a Symphony of Destruction match. So, Elias will beat Jeff, I guess. I don't really care. Otis versus Miz. Winner gets the Money in the Bank briefcase. If Vince has his way, Otis will keep the briefcase. And then maybe Otis goes to Raw and cashes in, on the WWE champion. The right call would be to have Miz win, and then Miz and Morrison fight over it, and Morrison win the briefcase, and then that just muddies the whole goddamn thing. Unfortunately, I think Otis is going to win here. I just don't think that they're going to... I think they'll have the tag partners there. Maybe Tucker screws them over. I mean, I don't know why they're on separate shows, but I think Otis is going to win, and I hate it, but I think Vince's feeling about Otis is going to rule all. Bayley versus Sasha. I'm going bold and saying Bayley. I think they're going to stretch this thing out with Sasha. They're going to have Bayley somehow win. Sasha's going to maybe win the Rumble and then face off against her at WrestleMania. They're going to stretch this motherfucker out. They're going to find a way to do it. And then you get a Bayley versus, a few of the other women on there, Bayley versus Natalia, and anybody like that, Bayley versus Selena. You could do some other programs and everything, but they're going to try to stretch this fucker out. They want to have Sasha win. I'm not going to complain, but I think they're going to stretch it out. And then Drew versus Randy. I hate to say I think Randy's going to win. If Drew wins, I'm all for it. I'm super happy, but I think Randy's going to win. I picked Randy before, and it turns out I was wrong, and I'm glad I was wrong. I think Randy's winning here because Drew's won enough, and I think they're going to go with Randy even though they shouldn't. They should keep it on Drew. And then Roman versus Jay, Universal Championship. It's an I Quit match, by the way, inside a Hell in a Cell. So we're just taking a bunch of gimmicks and doing that shit. It's going to be Roman. It's going to be Roman in like 10 minutes. There is no reason for it to go on that long. He's going to beat the shit out of him. Jay's going to get his shots in. He's a great athlete, but nobody believes he's going to win. If he wins the Universal Championship, I will be absolutely floored. I'm not even saying I'm going to be angry. I'll be floored. So, agree, disagree with what I said? Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Rethlin. I'll see you soon.